morning, everybody. It's 8 o'clock on, what are we today? Friday. Oh, it's Friday. I can't believe I forgot it's Friday. Just dropped off the kids. So it's 8 o'clock. I usually start my day at 9 with my customers, so I had a little bit of time to start up a new project and to get my day going. So I wanted to talk about flea markets today. I had a neat experience last weekend with my son Zach. I had been putting this off for a while since I've heard about this really neat flea market close to my house. I didn't really know what to expect, so even though Zach was a bit sick, I figured he was coughing a bit. So, but still, fresh air. This is an outdoor market. It's in the middle of a field with there's like barns and stuff, and so there's like at least I'd say close to 50 stalls of different merchants, if you will, that have a wide variety of stuff. It was amazing. It was really, really neat. I never thought, like, I had heard of flea markets. I had a vague idea what to expect at a flea market. And this was pretty much the biggest one I've ever heard of. But I saw a slew of woodworking tools. I'll be showing slides. I took some pictures. Some old. There's some stalls that were full of antique farm equipment, or just all kinds of stuff. I found I found old knives. I found old tools. I found axes. It's just, it was, I've said it like 10 times already, but anyways, I found it really, really neat. And Zach didn't really understand what was going on at the beginning. Like when we got there, he's like, Dad, what are we doing here? I said, well, Dad wants to look for old tools. And Zach loves tools. He has his own play tools. Now that he's getting a bit older, he's almost 4. He actually has his own hammer. I don't have it around here somewhere. He has his own hammer. He has his own, most of the tools, the basic woodworking tools that I have, he has a version of in smaller that he uses on his own little workbench. So when he started seeing me getting excited, there was one stall that was in a barn that this guy was probably there for about 20 years, that he just keeps circulating his stock through, and I found a bucket of blacksmithing tools, a whole bunch of of pliers and whatnot. I'm thinking about coming back this Saturday to see if he still has it, because he was going to sell me that for a good price, the whole bucket for a good price. I have never seen that many blacksmithing tools in one spot before, so that's kind of an opportunity that I'm itching to take. So, but he had a whole bunch of wooden hand planes and all kinds of stuff. So, looking through. I spent about 2 hours there with Zach, and we had a lot of fun. There was even some a little food bar for burgers and stuff like that. So we had lunch. So all around, not a great day, but I mean a great couple hours that I had with him. So let me show you the stuff that I actually bought. So let's start with this. I finally found a nice cast iron pot or frying pan. I always wondered, I figured I've always wanted one, and I never really knew where to find it. In my head, it was just like, okay, well, you either have grandparents that passed one down, or I figured there was somewhere to buy one. But I walked into one of these stalls, and she had like 30, like of all sizes. I could have gotten like these big pans. My wife actually told me just before I left, she said, well, I have one upstairs and for camping gear, so it's like this bit bigger, like good for family size. But when I walked in there, this woman was, I started a conversation with her. I was asking her questions about various pans, and she explained to me that they come in different qualities. There was the Japanese ones that were lesser quality. There was Taiwanese ones that were also like okay. And then this smaller one, which is actually one of the more expensive ones, which is still good though, because at $12 for this really solid construction, and this is made in the USA. So she said this was one of the top qualities that she had. And so for like the other ones, the Japanese one I think was for $5 for a bit bigger, and then there was the Taiwanese one for I think $7 for about the same size as the Japanese one. So this was pretty much the smallest one I saw, but it's perfect. I could, like, it's not too heavy. It's probably about 1.5 pounds, I'd say, maybe 2 pounds. So and I could just throw this onto a backpack if I were really going for a weekend, and I know that I'll be wanting to cook up some eggs or whatever else. So I'm really happy with this purchase. Beautiful condition, just like practically no rust whatsoever. So and the reason I bought the higher quality one too is because she said that since I was putting the pans directly onto the coals of the fire, that's like extreme heat. So if you buy a cheaper one and you use it for a number of years, like it'll eventually warp. I guess, like, so at least with a high quality metal, you know that you're going to be lasting a lifetime and then some. So the other thing that I always keep an eye out when I'm going into garage sales, and especially when this flea market, was knives. So I picked up this great little knife. It's a Normark, amazing condition. Based on my research, I did find this exact model at an auction. It's in 1967 Normark fish. It's a fish knife, extremely sharp. I'm putting my thumb there, but so if you look at the quality of the blade, it's a stainless steel blade. I'm not sure of the metal. It might be like it might be a cheaper or a higher quality metal, but it feels really nice. It's a really nice. I think it's like 2.5 millimeter thick spine. The shape, even if it was made for fish, the shape is pretty much perfect for bushcraft. Full scanty grind, and I can't remember the name of this when you have a tip that's kind of curving back. So this would be a perfect camp knife regardless of what it was made for. And it comes with a beautiful sheath made in England. So this is a for those who don't know Normark, it's a Fiskars Finland stainless steel. It just feels really nice. I'm sure I can get like, it already has a beautiful edge on it. Like especially towards the end here, I can see how sharp it was before. Wouldn't take me much at all to get this back into shaving sharp. Very nice quality sheath. Again, made in England, real leather. It fits really nice, solid in there. Great knife. I don't know if I'm going to keep this for myself or maybe have it in a draw later on. But I got this for 10 bucks. Like, I actually was with, I had bought these two on one table, and this was she had listed for $20 and this for $10, and I got them both for $20 together. So this very small hand plane in great condition. I believe it's a Stanley number 1 or something like that. Anyways, it says MMP, but it's still very plumb on the bottom, very straight. The blade was in good condition. There's very little to no rust. I can't even see any rust honestly with this, but I can tell it's very old. It took me the blade itself was a bit chipped, but it took me on my belt sander. It took me literally 30 seconds to regrind. Probably about 1.5 minutes to just on the whetstone. And this thing, if you look at, if I can get in the right shot, nice square corner, like it's awesome. So it's a perfect little hand plane to add to my collection, which I love. I have a small collection of old hand planes up there, so perfect addition to my collection for $10. I mean, the only hand plate I've ever really invested in was this Veritas block plane. I believe it's a block plane. Those who know maybe correct me, but I believe it's a block plane. So this thing cost me about $180 because this is the only one that's really been like brand new. These are one of the top. They basically Veritas, and I can't remember. This is a Canadian company, I believe, and there's another U.S. company that they both make like top world-class quality hand planes today. Like, there's very few companies that are still forging these things. So the knife, I also found this kind of butterfly, again, it's a plane, but I can't remember the exact type of model. I've kind of buffed it a bit, but there was some surface rust on it, but it's in great condition, very solid. I just have to get this screw to come out. I'll probably have to put some WD-40 or something on there. But the blade's in great condition, so that's perfect for another rounding for my hand plane collection. Sorry. What else? So another knife. Okay, so my second knife finding. I actually got some. I posted pictures of this one on Blade forum. Knife. Is it knife forum? Anyway, one of those big knife center, I think. There was actually a section in the forum for knife identification. So I posted this, and I asked those experts to give me an idea of what kind of knife this is, what kind of year. And the closest we've got, there's one guy that came out and said that it looks like a Salinger, which is probably between 1950 and 1960. From the shape, it's most likely a hunting knife. So I was looking through pictures, and sure enough, it does really resemble some Salinger. So I'm guessing it's going to be Salinger. So this is a bone handle, if I'm not mistaken, and from what I could tell, the steel from the Salinger knives, it is definitely carbon. There's no stainless steel that could friggin' rust this much. I actually cleaned it up. I actually buffed it quite a bit to try to get the word. It's a Rose something. I'm seeing ROSE, and I should have wrote it down. But when I was searching it, I actually did find Salinger Rosseg or Rossif or something like that. It was either a partnership with some other company or something, but or a type of their collection or something like that. So I mean, their comments when they saw this is, well, it's very poor condition. It's like, man, I know it's a poor condition. That's why I got it for $15. So basically, I just like this knife. It has some great history. The blade's in poor condition only because there's all these pock marks of the way that the rust had gotten to it. But I'll buff it, I'll sand it, I'll regrind the edge, I'll fix it. You can see how this, depending on where, there we go. See how it's even chalked, kind of deteriorating there. I'll redo the edge there. I mean, it's metal. It can all be fixed, right? So I'll keep some of the ruggedness. I'll redo the profile of the blade. This is a very nice brass guard. The previous owners actually bent this backwards to allow to be able to kind of use your thumb like that, because it does have little rivets. If I get out of the way, you can probably see that better. It has little I don't know, whatever, little lines here. So when you choke up on the handle. The pommel will probably have to go. It's too bad. It's very deteriorated, but at the same time, I find it has a charm. So I might be able to find some type of way to keep it there. The only way I could think of to keep it there would be to remove the bone handle and get all this stuff out of there, and then take a two-piece, because it's a partial tang, right? It has a bolt in the back here, so not partial tang, but stick tang, I think. So I could make a two-piece scales basically, and just hollow out the middle of one of the pieces and then stick it together. At least I could keep the original tang. That could be a pretty good idea to keep the knife more original. Or we could just saw off the pommel, make a beautiful insert handle. I think with some exotic wood, I'll think about rebending this to its original. I don't know. I do like the functionality of having that bent back, because it does make it choking up a lot more comfortable in the use of the knife. So anyway, it's a neat project, restoration project. I don't know how much quality this knife was to begin with, but just with the addition of its years and someone didn't really take care of it very well, but we'll take care of it. All right, which brings me to the last two pieces. I found some axe heads. One is in pretty good condition. It's see some wear in the back there, but I mean it doesn't have any kind of markings, so it does seem. I like it's nice and wide for splitting. So it'll probably be a nice project. Either way, I'll just grind it back to health and get a handle on it. But this was the real find of the day. So I got a Hults or Hults Bruks. I couldn't really, as far as I could tell, it's the same company. It seems to be the same company. Maybe it's like different eras. So I don't know what year this was. It doesn't seem that old, honestly. It's probably from the 80s. It has some basic rust, but it's a nice size. It's actually perfect because I was looking to get. I had my eye on a Scandinavian. I think it's a Scandinavian, either Scandinavian forest axe, but anyways, from the Hults Bruk. So something larger, about I think those are about 30 inches handle, something like that. So I'll see with the size. It's a pretty big axe head. So, but I love the shape. And for those of you who don't know, the Hults, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm trying to see the word in my head, but I think it's Hults, are renowned to be as high quality as Hults Bruks. So what a great find. This was in a bucket in a corner of the room with just a bunch of other metal stuff, and I actually dug through the bucket, and on the bottom of the bucket I have found this head. And I was so excited to find an axe head, period, because I've been trying to, I wanted to do an axe restoration project of just showing how to make the axe handle, trying to make my own axe handle, maybe trying to find a different type of wood or something, just make something a little bit original. And then of course I fall onto a very high quality steel. So the Hults are from, I didn't even hear them before seeing the HB. I did a quick search for HB axes, and that's what I fell onto. It seems like it's a lighter price range than Hults Bruk, but it's again just like Husqvarna and anyway. So Husqvarna is also a Swedish company. They make the same. They make the same axe heads as Wetterlings. This is my understanding. So, and these guys are in the same quality range. So, unless this is a different type of model, whatever, but I'll go on the assumption that I found a really cool axe head. So, I love the profile. Look how thin that is. It'll be a very, very nice. Like it's gonna really bite into the wood. I'm not looking for a splitting axe. I want a cutting axe. I already have my I think it's like 20-inch handle for my Wetterlings small forest axe. That one's pretty good for splitting. I really wanted something that if I could bring in to actually fell trees. This is not a big. Could split up some logs and cut down some trees. So we'll get this back up. I'm gonna completely strip all the paint. I'll buff it down to see kind of mirror sheen that we get it. We'll take care of it. Gotta figure out which side's up. It looks pretty symmetrical actually. It would have been nice to find one that's like straight. We could always grind it straight. That could be kind of cool too. Take some weight off. Because it'd be fun to have this on a 25-inch handle. I still want something portable. I still want something that I can throw in my backpack for like 3-day trips. So, anyways, so that was my last find. I'm hoping it's Friday now, so I'm hoping I can go back to tomorrow morning. So I had a conversation with several of the shop owners or whatever merchants of things that I was looking for, because I'm looking for blacksmithing tools and I'm looking for just old tools in general, vintage tools that I can restore or just add to my collection. And at $10–15 a pop, it's a steal. It's great. So I'm also looking for more hatchets. I would love to find a carpenter's axe, an old carpenter's axe, which is kind of hard for me because I'm left-handed. And the carpenter's axe that I'm looking for, it has really just the one side, it kind of like a chisel. so that I could really control wood removal, because I have some ideas for other projects for building furniture with just basic hand tools that you could bring with you in the woods. So if you wanted to build a chair, add a table, or stuff like that. So all together, pretty cool haul. All in all, it cost me a little bit less than $100. It was like, you know, all together $10, $20 here. So this is going to be definitely some. I've been wanting to do some more restoration projects for tools and whatnot, so that you can expect some of that in the future. So especially the knife and the axis should be pretty neat transformations. All right, so that'll be it for this episode. It's just kind of like a preview and a mention for the flea markets. Like, if you guys are looking for inspirations and neat tools, check out, like, just do a Google search for flea markets in your area, and go pay them a visit. You never know what you're gonna find. So later.